Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to make sure that I get this part out of the way. I want you to make sure that you like this video, make sure you comment on this video, and make sure that you share this video, and make sure that you subscribe. So this is something that's really, really on my heart, and I wanted to really share this, and I hope this helps out somebody. And you can't help what's out there in the world. All right. You can't help if it's good out there, it's evil out there. You can't help people who have good intentions, bad intentions. You can't help any of that stuff. The only thing that you can really do is operate with the spirit of discernment. And some of you don't trust what's called your gut instinct. And you need to start trusting your gut instinct. If you're going to be wrong about something, be wrong about something that you believe to your core, not something you don't want to be wrong about somebody else's beliefs. Okay. That's why I'm really not big on what your beliefs are, because beliefs are disconnected dots. Okay. It's essentially, in layman's terms, it's an incomplete narrative that you cannot piece together for facts, that you come away with and say, you know what, I can't make sense of this, but I'm gonna go ahead and trust it anyway. Why would you? And then here's the fact. The fact of the matter is, everybody's gonna finish their race at some point in time called life, and they're going to find out what is real and what's not real. Now, I'm not knocking anybody who is part of any religion whatsoever. But what I am saying is, you want to make sure that if you're going to be wrong about something, that you're wrong because you did your due diligence and you worked out your own salvation. That's all I'm saying. Now, different types of religions. Not going to get into that specifically, but I will say this. I think that if you're doing something in your life and it's making you an asset and not a liability, then fantastic. Fantastic. But if you're doing something because somebody else did it, because you have history of other people doing it, that's not you finding out the facts and the truth about what it is that you're doing. And so you may be right, but you may be wrong. And anything that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth is fireproof. And you have to become a blacksmith to everything that you believe and everything that you know. And you have to put everything that you believe and know through the fire. Okay? When I use the example of a blacksmith, think about it. They take things like metal and they put them through the fire. And the heat breaks down the metals. And what makes the metal so good is any impurities that are in the metal, they will be able to abstract those impurities from those metals. And then they begin a cooling process once they shape the metals into what they are supposed to be or what they want them to be. But the main purpose of using the example of a blacksmith is removing the impurities. Some of us have so much hardness about us that we can't get to the root of our problems because we're so hard-headed and we're so stiff-necked. We think we know, okay, well, you know what? This has been working for me. This has been working for me. All right. And what you are involved in has an origin. And not many things that we do today have an origin that extends all the way back to the beginning of civilization. And so when we start talking about things like the Dark Ages, even the Dark Ages has an origin. It's not like the last few thousand years we finally figured it out, because there were people that were living peaceful and prosperous lifestyles prior to all of this. Go back 10,000 years ago, people were living in peace. People, this idea of war and famine and things of that nature, once upon a time, that wasn't even the case. Capitalism is a big reason that there is a lopsidedness, if you will, in this world. Okay. You got people who are starving, people who can't get access to the things that they need to survive, just basic, core, essential, basic human rights that they don't have access to, that they could have access to. So, for instance, if how many of us eat apples and oranges? We do. A lot of us do. And how many times when you eat an apple, you see seeds in there? And if you took those seeds and if you plant those seeds, a whole tree would grow full of apples. Now, when I was working, I remember I used to fill my cooler up with water and fruits. And when I filled my cooler up with water and fruits, I got everything that I needed all day. I just didn't get hungry, right? But when I would put sandwiches and things in my fruit, my toe, I found myself sometimes getting lethargic or sleepy or whatever the case may be, because I was giving myself something that I didn't need, but I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it until I thought about it. And that's what I'm trying to get at with whatever you may believe, is I just want you to give it thought. Some of us are doing things unconsciously. We would go here and we go there and we show up here and we do this and we do that. And we're doing it without even giving it much thought, because it's what we are just accustomed to doing. It's like 21 days to create a habit, 42 days to create a lifestyle. And some of us been doing some of the things that we have been doing for years. So it's entrenched in our minds to do it. And we're not thinking conscientiously about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what proof there is in it. See, here's the thing about the truth. The truth is, it doesn't need any clothes. It stands naked, unashamed, and it doesn't care who it offends. It doesn't care who it defends. Its only concern is to just be. It doesn't get cold. It doesn't get hot. Nothing can burn it. It is the most purest of all purities. So when you put the truth, not your truth, not my truth, because my truth is a lie, your truth is a lie, because my truth, if it doesn't resemble 100% the truth, then it is a lie. Stop this. There is so many different variations of the truth. No, they're not. No, there isn't. There is no variations. The truth is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It is nothing. You can't change anything about it. And that's the only way that you're going to get it. When you have a lie, in order for a lie to be able to get far, in order for a lie to be able to get momentum and get motion, it has to have truth to it. Think about that. Have you ever heard somebody lie to you and it was just a complete and utter blatant lie? And you know it's a lie because it is so far from the truth that it doesn't even make sense. Well, see, those type of lies don't get an opportunity to get momentum unless it's being told to somebody that's just completely naive and just completely, let's just leave it at naive. But when you add some truth to that lie, if you add enough of it, it can overcome to a certain extent or a certain amount of people. It can overcome them because all some lazy people need to do is hear something that sounds like the truth, and they won't check it. They won't verify it. Those are the people that get hoodwinked. Those are the people that get bamboozled. When they sit back and they say, you know what? That kind of sounds like the truth. So a lie cloaked with a lie that has some truth in it, because the lie is the cloak. A lie that has some truth in it can prevail against the lazy. But the man or the woman that's not lazy, a man or the woman that intends to verify, those types of lies won't even stand a chance against them. But the problem is, once the diligent sniffs out a lie, they think that they can tell everybody else, present facts, and these people will wake up. They won't wake up, because what comes with lethargy is complacency. So even if you have somebody that will do a little bit of research and find a little bit of truth, they get so tired and exhausted from trying to find the truth that they will settle. They will settle on what they found as being the end all be all. And really it's because they still have some laziness to them. You have no opportunity to be able to find out the unadulterated truth unless you stay diligent. It is never rest while you live. It's never going to be rest for you in terms of your diligence towards understanding the truth. That means whether it's by reading, by seeing, by hearing, or whatever the case may be, you have to go on an all-out assault on finding the unadulterated truth. Because, as I said about the truth is naked. Well, lies are clothing. And some of these lies out here has so many different cloaks over it that you ever seen that big egg, and you take or like a big cup, you take off the cup and it's a slightly smaller cup, and you just keep doing it, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, this world is so full of lies that there's millions of cups. And the frustration with a lot of people is they're tired of taking the cups off. It's like they took off 100 cups, and they're just exhausted, and they're just like, you know what, this is just what it is. This cup right here, I done got to the 100th cup, and I'm just so sick and tired of it. This is just going to be the truth right here. And you're getting there, but you're discovering things, you're discovering new things, but there's more to uncover. And the majority of the people are just going to get exhausted from digging. But you have to pace yourself in life. And so when you discover something new and you find out something, okay, it may be more sustainable or more believable than what it originally was. But please know and understand, it's too much that has been taken from us. It is too much that has been destroyed, too much history that has been hidden from us for you to at this point feel like you have unearthed everything. And sometimes when you for an example, and I don't want to be specific. Let's say, for an example, you're a particular religion and you discover that what you thought you were in the religion, you are not in the religion. This can go with religion, love, life, whatever the case may be. But what you discovered in the religion is not what you thought you were in the religion. And what you discover in the religion makes you feel proud, makes you feel strong, makes you feel good about your place. So what you do is you say, I found something that debunks what I once knew, and I feel good about what I found. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to rest right here. Well, it's not complete yet. It's not finished yet. And when we start talking about the unadulterated truth, it may take you your whole life to get there. Now, what helps the next generation is the younger they are, the more impressionable they are. And so that's a huge responsibility. So you give them a head start. So belief gives them a head start if it's rooted in the righteous things, if it's rooted in the righteous thing. But you do a disservice to them when you give them an alternative reality. And you may not intend to give them an alternative reality, but you just don't know. Like, for an example, we have critical race theory that they want to eliminate from schools. Okay? But in critical race theory, there are some facts. Now, the facts need to be researched on your own. Okay? But there are some facts. By eliminating critical race theory, you have problems and then you don't know why they exist. So in today's world, there are certain groups of people that were privileged and there were certain groups of people that were at a disadvantage. Okay? If the disadvantaged doesn't know why they're disadvantaged, they'll always stay disadvantaged. And if the privileged don't know why they're privileged, then they'll never have compassion for the disadvantaged, and it'll never make sense why the disadvantaged are disadvantaged. Yes, we're all human beings. Yes, everything should be made fair. Yes, everybody should have basic human rights. But because of certain things that have happened, because of those certain things that have happened, is why we are where we are. It's just a simple cause and effect. In terms of wealth, in terms of land, in terms of the ability to pursue, in terms of opportunities. There is an accountability on both sides. But when it comes to opportunity, opportunity has its limitations. And opportunity is like an auditorium, okay? An auditorium, no matter how big it is, it can't fit everybody in the community. It is designed, if an auditorium seats 20,000, let's pretend, okay? Just pretend. Let's say a big auditorium was built to seat 20,000 people. I mean, I don't know how that would happen, but I'm just for the sake of numbers. But let's say the community is 100,000. It's all predicated that all 100,000 people don't want to go to the auditorium at the same time. And so every time there's shows at the auditorium, let's just say there's a few seats left, like it's not sold out. It's not because everybody wanted to go, everybody got in there, and there's still some seats left. It's playing on the fact that whatever is being showed and told, everybody's not going to want to know, and everybody's not going to want to come. And a lot of people don't come to the show because they are novice to what the show is talking about or what the show is about. And so with our history, so much has been ripped up, shredded, destroyed, and information for so long has been so controlled that folks aren't even interested in coming to the show. Folks aren't even interested in coming to the show. It's like they have town hall meetings about what's going on in the community and things of that nature. And so many people in the community that don't even come. So many people in the community don't even know there is a town hall meeting. So many people are just completely ignorant, whether by voluntarily ignorant or involuntarily ignorant. They don't know what's going on and they don't know what's being talked about. Had they known, they would come. They would come. And so what I'm trying to say here is if the ignorance keeps people from being able to live the life they're supposed to live. The old adage is, my people perish for their lack of knowledge. It's very true. And yes, for so long, information wasn't obtainable to certain people. And like I said, about 21 days to create a habit, 42 days to create a lifestyle. If people get in a habit of not getting any information, maybe they want information at one point, but the information just over and over and over again, they're told, just like the cup. Every time they take off the cup, they think they're going to find something, but all they find is another cup. They get tired of searching for something that they can't find, and they just stop looking. And that is that's the real detriment right there. That you keep looking for something and then you can't find anything, and that you give up. And that's systemically, that's what all of this is designed with. For everything from knowledge about self, knowledge about what's going on, knowledge about policies, knowledge about religion, knowledge about the judicial system, knowledge about capital, knowledge about making money, knowledge about skills, this, that, and the other, whatever the case may be. And this affects your DNA and the behaviors of your cells. People get so tired of looking and looking and looking that they just stop looking. Hence why everybody doesn't come to the show. Everybody doesn't come to the show. And so because everybody doesn't come to the show, these are the people that don't know, and these are the people that don't glow. So they don't know, they don't show, and then they don't glow. All right. And in order for you to be able to shine in your life, you need information to be able to posture yourself to be able to shine. You have to find your pace in life. See, life is about achieving balance, okay? Some of you think that you're supposed to party all the time. Man, where's the party? I'm going to the party. Where's the party? I'm going to the party. And when you party all the time, things that need to get done don't get done. And some of you are on the opposite. Some of you work all the time. Where's the money? Where's the money? But that's just as bad, because you're all work and you're no play. So one is all play and no work, and one is all work and no play. So the one that's all play and no work, they don't ever build anything, and they don't ever have a legacy to leave. And they don't ever get to really enjoy life at its full list. But the person that works all the time, that person doesn't have time to enjoy what they make. They might every once in a while they might go here, they might go there. But they're so busy working and missing the concept of how can I duplicate myself? How can I make more of me so I can pull myself from working? So so even in this capital based society, the real extremely best kind of life to live is, yes, you use the talent and abilities to go out there and you make the money that you make, but you develop systems to make the money so you stop working. And it's no matter where you come from, whether you're working at a minimum wage job or whether you're a CEO or whatever the case may be. If you're in the corporate sense, okay, the idea of the corporate is to use it for your embetterment. But the original design is not for you to work, because do you think that the most wealthiest people on this earth, they work hard? They may have worked hard, but they never intended to work until they died. It was always the game plan to put something in place so that they could enjoy life and what it has to offer. So life is about achieving balance. See, some of you want to make $1 billion, but let's just say that some people want to be worth $1 billion, but let's just say you're only worth $30 million. Will you still be able to have the opportunity to enjoy life if you're working like a slave to get to $1 billion, but you found systems to make you 30 million a year? Do you understand? So it's not about you becoming the best in the world. Becoming the best of yourself is what it's about, because that's the goal. The goal is to come here to this earth, become the best version of yourself, not comparing yourself to anybody else, and finding your assignment and staying on time and on schedule with it. That's what it's really all about. I say this all the time. And it's not once you get to that point, you're done and it's time to roll over into the grave. No, you want to get there efficiently and as quickly without compromising efficiency. You want to get there as efficiently as possible. And then you want to have the opportunity to enjoy the fruits of getting there. So when you see somebody out there living life, going places, doing things, whether it's material, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and they're in the apex of those categories, it doesn't mean that it's time to leave. It just means that you are in a position where you can enjoy the fruits of your labor and you can bless other people, because we are put here on this earth for the benefit of other people, but not the benefit of everyone, but the benefit of who we are supposed to benefit. Because everybody's got a different type of spirit that draws in certain types of people. And your job is to find out what your type of spirit is, apex your type of spirit in terms of what it does. Well, you can't apex your spirit because your spirit is apexed, okay? But to get your soul to follow your spirit, okay, to follow the essence of you, to follow the highest vibration of you, and then let your spirit lead you into all of the truth that there is, so that you can maximize the time that you have here and that you can be the maximum benefit to those that you were supposed to be here to benefit. Because if you don't benefit whom you're supposed to benefit, that person may perish because you weren't on your assignment. So it can't be about you. It has to be bigger than you. And when it's bigger than you, then you start to recognize how you have to keep going. So now, once you get to the apex of you and you got systems or whatever the case may be, the systems never stop. It's just a different type of mindset. It's a different type of mindset. So let me give you an example. All right. Let's say a person has a job, a stressful, a stressful job, but they work that job because they don't have any other source of income. That's a bad place to be when you've got deadlines that keep coming up that are very difficult for you to fulfill, and you're stressing about that. You're taking so much time away from your personal life to make sure that you can keep your head above water, whatever it is, whether no matter how much you're getting paid. All right. And that's the situation. Now let's take somebody that works at the same position at the same company, but let's just say they aren't working for the money. They aren't working. You're there. Of course, you're there to make money, but they have some other things going on in their lives. They have some systems that generate income. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, they need $5,000 a month, and they have systems that make them $10,000 a month. So they don't want, and let's just say they're going to work for a different reason. Maybe they're going to work because they want to satisfy their competitive drive. Maybe they're going to work because they want to use the income from what they're making from work to be able to catapult the systems that they have to make them even more money. This is what I mean by when you get a job, have a plan. And a lot of times you think, if I want to really make some money, I need a full-time job and I need a part-time job, or I need two full-time jobs. You're not thinking about how you can duplicate yourself. You're just burning yourself out. Now, granted, and here's the enslavement. One job pays all of your bills, and the other job allows you to be able to explore some things that you need to explore. But if you're always working, when are you going to be able to explore that? And we live in the information age, learning how to do something from home as part of what you're doing. Or if you're married, me personally, a man is supposed to be out there getting it. All right. And I don't mean going out there and providing his wife and his children lavish lifestyles. I mean, that's great. If you can do that, that's good. That's good. But what I'm talking about is a man is supposed to be able to provide. And ladies, you might not like this, but you have to understand, men aren't put here for you. Okay. You're actually put here to help us men. We need you. And the best way to get what you need, get what you want, is to do it through a team effort and playing your position. Don't give me, oh, well, that's very chauvinistic of you. Whatever. Look at the history of our lives on this earth and when things worked best for us as a people. There are things that when things work best in a team setting, there are sacrifices that are made. You cannot like it. You can say, well, no, I choose to do that. And you are at liberty to choose whatever you want to choose. But you also have to be willing to accept what comes with what you choose. Now, if you want to go out there and reinvent the wheel, go ahead, be my guest. But the wheel has already been invented, and so many things throughout the history have been tried. And there is a first place, second place, third place. Why would you settle for doing something second tier when you can do things on a top tier level? Any team in any setting that wins championships, every year, the team that wins the championship sacrifices the biggest part of why they won. You can't have Michael Jordan. Phil Jackson came to Michael Jordan one time and told Michael Jordan he gonna have to sacrifice some shots. Michael Jordan's mindset at the particular time was scoring titles. He wanted scoring titles. And Phil was saying, but we need championships. Now, Jordan didn't have to sacrifice scoring titles, but he was showing Jordan how he could get his points by taking less shots. So Phil Jackson coming into Michael Jordan's life made Michael more efficient. And that's what we need to be in our lives for beliefs, for things that we're doing, or whatever the case may be. Michael still won scoring titles, as I stated, but Phil taught him how to be more efficient instead of just jacking up shots to get his points. Because when Jordan was doing that, Jordan had all types of statistics, but he wasn't winning anything. And he didn't win anything until Pippen got there. You say whatever you want to say. He had a losing record in the playoffs, or in general, until Scotty got there. And Scotty made it easier for Michael. Scotty gave Jordan rest because Scotty took the best offensive player on defense. Jordan didn't have to facilitate offense. All Jordan had to do was get to his spots. And you remember, if you watched him later in his career, Jordan wanted to get the ball at the block, down there close to the block, or close to the elbow of the free throw line. Okay? Why? Because he wanted to back you down and he wanted to hit his patented fadeaway. Because Jordan could jump and you weren't out jumping Jordan and you weren't blocking his fadeaway. And that's where he expended his energy. So you just gotta, you guys understand what I'm saying here? You gotta have a game plan with whatever you're doing. Now, when we start talking about the truth, we are so offended. We are a highly offended society now. And so men can't even go up to women today and flirt with a woman because he can be harassed. You know, they say chivalry is dead. But the way things are right now, somebody's got to take accountability for why it's dead. Once upon a time, it used to be two types of no's. There used to be a not right now, and then there used to be a flat out no. And it was understood what the flat out no was. You go and talk to a woman and she says, no, I'm sorry, I'm not available. It may be something there. She may want you to pursue her more. But in today's society now, if you pursue her more, she can turn around and she can say you're harassing her. Or even worse, if she gives you the time of day, she has in her mind where she wants things to go. And if they don't go where she thinks that they ought to go, she has the system on her side where she can say, well, things didn't turn out the way that I wanted to turn out. I didn't get from him what I wanted to get from him. Let me create something that bodes bad against him so that I can get him to settle out of court, to get what I want from him. Now, if you're offended by what I just said, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to the woman who's been actually wronged. And see, a lot of women that haven't been wronged, they know that folks aren't really interested in proving that they've been wronged. I think it's perjury. Perjury used to be a thing, right? Lying about something that happened that didn't happen and having consequences for that. And you see no consequences for lies anymore. So pretend robbing a bank for millions of dollars. Do you know why a lot of people don't rob banks? There are people who do, but do you know why a lot of people who think about robbing banks do not rob banks? Well, because they don't want to deal with those consequences. Now, the ones that do rob banks, they don't think much about consequences. They just think about, they get overwhelmed with getting away with it. But if you could rob a bank, and then even if you got caught, had to pay a $5,000 fine or $25, whatever it is, had to pay a small fine, and that was it, do you think there'd be more bank robberies? Yes, there would, because it wouldn't be a lot to lose. It wouldn't be a lot to lose. And this is what I'm saying about accusing someone or defaming someone with no evidence. I think that you should have to prove it. You should have to prove it. And if you can't prove it, understand that there's consequences that are involved. But instead of me fighting to try to change the system, and this is our problem as Black people, instead of fighting to change the system, we need to build our own. Because we keep trying to fight for an invitation that we're not getting. And listen, everybody has a right to invite whomever they want to the party. But in certain systems, certain groups of people, they have accesses to ownerships that allows them to be able to throw parties. And as Black people in this system, we don't have accesses to own systems to throw our own parties. And we can't be mad. We can't be upset. Yes, we built the systems that are in place and they're great, but we can start over and build our own systems. Because why would you want to be invited? And look, this is no disrespect. Listen, I have people that I'm cool with of all ethnicities. But the truth is uncomfortable, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. If I'm not invited to your party, I shouldn't be fighting, arguing, and fussing with you about why I didn't get an invitation. And I certainly shouldn't be trying to break into your party. You didn't invite me. There's no need to go over why you didn't invite me. There's no need for you to lie to me. You know what? I forgot to give you an invitation. But I'm sorry, they're not going to let you in the door. But the next party, I'll let you come to the next party. If you did not think about me enough to invite me to the party, I'm not going to cry and I'm not going to complain. What I'm going to do if I want a party is I'm going to start my own party. And maybe I don't have this big fancy inn to throw a party, but maybe I can just go outside and throw a block party. And you know what? My block party is going to be epic. My block party is going to be all that and then some. And the people at your party are going to hear about my party. And they're going to want to come to my party. And see, the thing about my party, I'm not even at this point sending out invitations. It's open invitation. And everybody of all sorts can come to my party. They just pay $10 at the door. So I got 1,000 people at my party and I made $10,000. And you have your exclusive party. And granted, you don't need the money, but I'm going to take this $10,000 that I made from throwing my party and I'm going to build with it. Not spend it, but build with it. Because the dollar earned, I think the appreciation for the dollar that is earned is not there. We just think we'll go out there and we'll get it in the next check. You have to treat your check like it's your last check. What will you do? That's what you got to do. That check you worked hard for, you know what you had to do it. I remember working for this company and I sold the most that I had sold in 1 month. And I had a very handsome check for me. And I remember how happy and excited I was once that check hit my account. And the next month came and I immediately got depressed because I enjoyed, I was in a situation where I was going to be caught up. And this is how a lot of people get caught up making money. It took you ultimate sacrifice to make that money. But you know that when the new month comes in, it starts all over again. You're not going to get any residuals from what you made. You have to turn around and you have to put in and have the same kind of fortune that you had the last month to make that money. You got to be able to commit to the same type of activities. You got to have the same kind of fortuitous bounces. And for a lot of people, that's not possible. They may go out the next month and work harder than they did their best month and not make as much. So what should that person do with that fortune from last month? Well, first of all, if they don't know what to do, not knowing what to do with your money by letting it sit, it's going to, it's going to rot. Inflation is rot to money, right? And so you got to be thinking about before you get money what you'll do with money, because your time will come if you're doing the things that you're supposed to do. So at that particular time, the only thing I was thinking about that month was I was thinking about, okay, let me make the calls that I need to make to set the appointments that I need to set so that I can get the opportunities that I need to get. And then everything that needs to be proposed, I'm going to propose everything that particular month. That particular stop. And I'm going to have sincere follow-up with them and try to get what I can get. And some of the sales that I made didn't come from work that I did that month. Some of it came from previous months that had come. So to keep from getting burned out, you have to be consistent about what you're going to do. You can't say, so 4 stops in a day was a whole 8 hours. And I would do I would do like 7 or 8 stops. If I had 7 or 8 stops to do, I would be out all day, all night. And I burned out. So I got the reward, but I was burned out and exhausted. Because when you think about sometimes what you did to get what you got, and you think about what you have to do to get what you got, then you get frustrated. You get frustrated. So you can't let money dictate your pace. You just got to find your pace, not worry about the money. You have to find your pace in whatever you're doing. Don't worry about that money. Just know that money is going to come to you if you do the activities that you're supposed to do. Do the activities that you're supposed to do, the money will come. And if you find your stride, you won't get exhausted. You just won't. There would be guys that were selling way more than me, but they were doing way more than me. And some of those same guys, they ended up burning out and they ended up leaving. So you can't be concerned about what the person next to you is doing. You just have to be concerned with what you're doing. And so for me, instead of eight appointments, I said I can only do 4. Because if I do 4, there's going to be something that comes up where I might have to do 5. So I'm going to just keep it at 4. I'm going to keep it at 4. I'm going to keep it at 4. I'm going to keep it at 4. That's what I'm going to do. And some days I would go out there and I would do 4 and I'd make nothing. And then some days I go out there and do 4 and I would make a heap. So you got to make sure that you understand that in this life that we live, you have to find your stride. Your stride, not someone else's stride, your stride. Based on your statistics, based on your stature, based on your mental capacity, based on your physicality, based on your spirituality, based on your emotional side of things. You need to make sure that you find a stride that's going to be best for you. And what is a stride? I'd like to liken it to the 400-meter race. You cannot jog that race, but you cannot all out sprint that race either. You have to find a stride that you can maintain at peak efficiency for 3/4 of the race, with enough in the tank to be able to go faster for another 100 meters and sustain it, not burn out. And that takes practice. You have to practice that. It is a very mental race. And I didn't run that race. I haven't run that race since high school. So I haven't run that race in almost 25 years. But I can tell you, it is indeed a mental race. See, when you run a distance, you can move at a slower pace. But the key to life is finding your stride, because life is a marathon, yet it's a sprint. And you got to find out. I wouldn't even say it's a marathon for real. I will, out of respect to Nipsey Hussle, shout out to Nipsey Hussle, I will say it is a marathon. But as short as life is, it's a sprint within the marathon too. So you've got to find your stride, because you don't know when your race is over. You got to find a stride that you can maintain. But in life, you get to take breaks and rest. So life is races. Not racist, but race, RACES. Life is a bunch of races. Life is a bunch of races. I'd say life is NASCAR. You got a bunch of races, right? And of all of those races, you have to win as many of the races as you can. And some races you aren't designed to win, but you can place. Stop being so caught up with being first and just start being caught up in running your race. If you just run your race and do the best you can, you'll find that there's a point system. And it is not always at the end of the season the one that won the most races. it's the one that has the most points. And I'm not even a NASCAR fan, but I do know that about the point standings, the point accumulation. So you sometimes have somebody in contention to finish with the most points, and they may have won little to none of the races, but they were always in contention. And in life, that's what you want to do, always be in contention. You're so worried about being a billionaire, but if you didn't end up becoming a billionaire and you lived your life and you lived 100 and made $100 million, would you be fine? You certainly would. You would have been able to live in a nice house. You would have been able to drive a nice car. You'd have been able to wear nice clothes, and you'd be able to go and take your family on to nice places. What else is there for you? You also would have been able to help others, which is the greatest joy. So I want to wrap that up right there. And I want to just say in my final thoughts, the truth, the truth, it's all it's about. How much do you align with the truth? You know, the truth isn't always easy to accept, but do you accept it? Do you accept it? I'm not talking about sicknesses and diseases and things like that. I'm not ever asking you to accept that unless you know that you know. I'm talking about the sobering reality of what it takes to get what it is that you need to get, the cause and effect of life. Do you accept it? Or do you have this alternative reality about what it is? Because your alternative reality ain't going to serve you no purpose except momentarily. Excuse me. So, accept the truth. Test the faith. Put everything to the fire. Extract all of the impurities from anything that's connected to you. Cool it. Shape it into what it ought to be. Accept things the way that they come to you. But make sure you're doing everything that you're supposed to do to make the reality that you live in the reality that you desire. You can have reality be what it is, but you have to accept reality for the fact of what it is before you can change things in your reality. All right. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you comment on this video. Talk to me nice. Make sure that you share this video, and definitely make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I love you guys. Take care.